everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kat. So as graduate students, you definitely have so many different occasions to present yourself, right? Your work, your lab, everything. Also, in my previous video, I talked about you have to seize all the opportunities to present yourself. So, how to do that? Today, this video is about how I can teach you some tips to present yourself very confidently. So before we start, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe so you can better support my channels and I can better provide more content to you as well. So let's dive in. I want you to imagine what a good presenter look like. You might think of a person in your class or one of the professors stands in the center of the stage and just presents very confidently. Well, you think the key is confidence, right? You think that classmates, that professor, definitely because their beautiful work, that's why they can present so confidently. Yes, I agree, confidence is the key, but they are not born with confidence. I think instead of confidence, practice is the key. Practice makes perfect. No matter you are extrovert or introvert, you can always practice and then here comes the confidence. So to me, I think confidence can be acquired. That's why in this video, I want to teach you how to present yourself confidently. And I will divide into two parts. One is for extrovert, one is for introvert. Okay? So let's start from the extrovert. You might be thinking, I don't have any problems with confidence. I'm born with that, right? I'm extrovert, I talk on the camera, I talk with my friends, no problem. However, yes, you have an advantage being an extrovert to be more confident than an introvert talking in front of audience. But I think you might ramble too much. So many extroverts that I know of, they ramble. Me included. When I'm too excited, I will repeat a lot of things over and over somehow, So the second problem extroverts have is talking too fast. That's why for all your extroverts, my tips to you is first, speak slowly, okay? That's every time I go to a stage, I talk to myself. Speak slowly, because if you speak too fast, you ramble. That's why I think as long as you start speaking slowly, you will think and then you can speak logically, and that's the first step for you extroverts. And then for you introverts, and I would imagine a lot of scientists are introvert because that's why at the beginning you are interested in science because you think, wow, science is cool and I don't care if people think I'm a nerd because I'm cool, science is cool, right? And then you just, dive into science and become a scientist now, which, I definitely appreciate all your work. But the biggest problem of being an introvert is you work so hard, but you don't present yourself. So people underappreciate you, right? You do 100% work or even 200%, but you only deliver with 50%. If you undersell yourself, people will not trust you that much. People might not enjoy your research as much as it could be. You might lose the chance of promote yourself, promote your future lab if you become a PI. That's why I think present yourself is so important, especially if you're an introvert. So being an introvert is actually powerful. You really do your science rigorously. You can keep digging a problem for hours, days, years. And that's what science needs. Here, I want to teach you that to be confident, practice in your case is the key. And practice by yourself. If you have enough confidence in your project, then you will have enough confidence to practice talking to yourself either in front of a mirror or in front of a camera, any resource. You practice. And then you can start slowly going to your family members, your friends who are non-scientists. You go to your close circle first, right? You have your materials ready, you talk to them first. Then gradually you get positive feedbacks, then you start getting to a larger audience. That's my tip to your introverts. Start by practicing with yourself. You are your best audience, okay? So I talked about, the extrovert, introvert, how you can start presenting. But the biggest problem now is the content, right? To present to anybody, even to yourself, you need something to talk about. Well, I think there are two kinds of contents. One is a professional deck of slides that including all your research that you can present to an audience. That slide deck can range from 30 minutes to an hour, depends on the length of the presentation. Because, for example, if you're a speaker of a student seminar, it could be short. Or if you're a speaker for a keynote speech, then it can be an hour, right? So there are different kind of academic settings that you can present your research. The rule of thumb is concise and to the point. So if you guys are interested, I will have a video about teaching how to present in an academic setting, either a 30 minutes talk or an hour talk. What are the key points for the beautiful slide decks? But today I want to really stress the importance of a short presentation, right? I guess everybody probably heard elevator pitch in the business setting, meaning that, if you meet a CEO of an investment firm or, you meet the interviewer in an elevator, you want to, present yourself to him or her, and, the elevator can go from, the first floor to, let's say, 30th or 80th floor, and that can range from 30 seconds to a minute. The time that you spend alone with the interviewer or the CEO of the dream company. Then when you want to present yourself, you want to deliver the best of yourself, right? In that 30 seconds or a minute. So how do you present it, right? So I think that applies definitely to the business setting because you can briefly introduce yourself. However, I think I want to talk to most of my audience are graduate students or people who are in science. So I think you can prepare the speech in different length. I will say a minute, 3 minutes, and 5 minutes, okay? That depends on who are your audience. For example, if now you're a senior graduate student, you want to graduate and go to, let's say a business world or more closer to the sales position. Your audience are more layman, right? So you really want to tell them in the simplistic way that what did you do in your last 5 years in the grad school, right? So within that minute, you can start off by introducing yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what your interest is, right? So you can say, I'm doing a PhD in neuroscience, studying neurodegenerative disease, or study a neurodevelopmental disease. My research is about developing a drug towards this disease, and I hope one day in the future that it can translate to the clinical trials and really benefit patients. That's very concise. In 1 or 2 sentences, summarize what you're doing, and then followed by your achievements. In the past few years, I published certain amounts of papers in high impact journals, right? This can really demonstrate your achievements, and you can say, for example, your class scores, if that is important, right? Just highlight those important things in your research. Also, you can mention your extracurricular activity. You say, I'm also involved in consulting club, and we solved 10 cases in the last 2 months. You want to really quantify your achievements in that minute. And then you end up with, thank you so much for, listening to me, and I really hope we can chat again if you have a few more minutes. So you end up with the hope of setting another meeting, right? So that would be a really intense minute. You really summarize everything. But most likely in the academic setting or in a biotech, not really business focused world, you want to really, expand your research a little bit because, that's a lot of work, right? So in that case, I would say 3 or 5 minutes is really a great amount of time that you can use relative layman terms to demonstrate your work. If it's a 3 or 5 minutes, you can start off by saying the similar things, introduce yourself, what is your research focus, then you can really work them through your projects by a little bit detail. So if it's 3 minutes, I would recommend only talking about one project. So if it's 5 minutes, I will say you can add a little bit extra work on top of your main project. So for example, you say, okay, my research focus is on this neurodevelopmental disease, and then I'm developing this drug So you can talk a little bit about this drug, how you develop it, and what is its main technology involved in. And then you say how it benefits either the cell line that you're using or the mouse model that you're using, right? So you can quantify improvement. You say, after applying this drug, this mice, it was sick, now it can move, it can actually learn better, or it actually learn as well as the normal mice. So you can actually give more context to the audience as well. You also end it with a future directions, right? You say, in the future, we're testing this drug maybe in blah, 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 or we hope that we can test this drug in a mouse model. So I think the difference between the 3 minutes and 5 minutes is really the body of the research. You can expand it a little bit more in 5 minutes compared to the 3 minutes. So after you talk about your projects, what you did, and future directions, and I think it's like a funnel going back to a bigger picture. Again, you say the significance of the study. So you say there are 3 million patients out there. We really hope this technology or this drug can benefit these patients move forward to clinical trials. And then you can say there are certain companies working on it. So we really hope, maybe we can collaborate with these companies. So the significance of the study, really, you have to adapt based on your audience. If they're professors, right, they will be more interested in your future experiments. If they are pharmaceutical companies, they might be interested in the application of the technology. If they are venture capitalists, you are trying to pitch this idea to get money, then you really want to end up with talking about your revenue projections. To say, okay, this drug really can make money because, the market is there. So this really can tailor based on the audience. But I think this will be the general idea. You start off by introducing yourself and introducing your project and expand your project a little bit and ends with the future directions and the significance of the project. And so that will basically be the thesis. So after talking about the contents, I really want to go back to what I was talking about in the beginning. Practice is the key, right? Practice makes perfect. Practice makes you confident. All the people that you see on the stage, on the TED Talk, on your whatever talks that you see, they look so confident, so easy to just give a talk. You think you can give them a random topic and then can just start talking. No. Tell yourself that they all practice, right? A minute on the stage can mean 100 hours behind the scenes. So really tell yourself you can do it as long as you practice. As a researcher, doing the experiments are not the only thing that you should focus on. Presentation is as important, if not more important. Okay? You really want to deliver how much you can do, how much you can achieve to bring the attention of the audience, make you shine. So if you're a graduate student, you want to pursue, academia, this is very important because no matter if it is a job interview in the future to become a faculty or talks that you have to give in the conferences, you really want to be that superstar that everybody remember your speech, your research, and they want to collaborate with you, right? And if you're a graduate student, but you want to, maybe explore more alternative careers, then this is also important because you want to sell yourself. You want to sell that you are a great person to work with. You can do bench science. You can think critically. You can meet all the requirements that they listed on the company websites for this job during your interview. And even after you join the company, no matter if it is a biotech scientist or a consulting or medical science liaison or patent lawyers, any other jobs, present yourself is just so important. So I hope that you can learn in your grad school and practice as much as you can, gain your confidence. So in the future, it'll be so much easier. And I think this is definitely a positive feedback and I really enjoy. For me, now talking in front of the camera to you all is also another way to present myself, right? I'm not only just a PhD, I'm not only just a scientist, I'm not only just a consultant, but I'm also your friend, right? I want to present to you that I can help you to make your graduate student life much better. Well, a little bit better. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope, my tips helped a little bit. And if you have any questions, please comment below, and I will definitely address every single question that I see. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.